alert, red alert, red alert, last and final call. Directed to all ambitious auto sales and marketing professionals, believe me, what you are about to read will shock you beyond your imaginations. This hand-picked news will serve the purpose of making us to be seriously warned of the current unstable automotive market situations. Believable? You bet. It is. Wait a minute. Before you jump headlong into the deep end of this bulletin, please glance at the preview first. Alright, thanks. To give you a foretaste of this exciting newsletter, here are the salient points. Believe it or not, luckily, buyers who have booked their cars during the tax exemption period have until March 3 next year to register their vehicles with TH Road Transport Department, JPJ. This has resulted in 264,000 units of vehicles booked during the sales tax exemption period. All in all, 868,422 units of vehicles have been sold, and its value comes up to a total Rm 4.7 billion. This SST exception was executed also stimulate sales in a market heavily affected by COVID-19 restrictions. That said, let's drill deep into the core of this week's newsletter. Shall we? Thanks again. Here goes. Breaking news. Automotive sector. On the road to recovery. Pedaling Jaya. The vehicle sales tax holiday will not be extended beyond June 30th, but buyers who have booked their cars during the tax exemption period have until March 3 next year to register their vehicles with TH Road Transport Department, JPJ. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Aziz Tengku Abdulaziz said this is to ensure that buyers can still benefit from the tax exemption despite the decline in vehicle production amid the shortage of semiconductor chips and global supply chain disruptions, which are also delaying the delivery of new vehicles. He said 264,000 units of vehicles booked during the sales tax exemption period have not been fully assembled and cannot be supplied to buyers owing to the worldwide microchip shortage. The extension of this vehicle registration period is a midpoint solution to balance the interest of consumers and national tax revenue, which needs to be re-enhanced post-pandemic to ensure that the welfare of the people and economic well-being of the country continues to be preserved, said Tengku Zafrul in a statement yesterday. He said the government had introduced the sales tax exemption for passenger vehicles, including MPVs and SUVs, since June 5, 2020 to assist the automotive sector. A full tax waiver was granted for locally assembled cars and 50% for imported cars. To date, a total of 868,422 units of vehicles have been sold and citizens have benefited from sales tax exemption totaling Rm 4.7 billion. Win-win. The extension of the vehicle registration period is a midpoint solution to balance the interest of consumers and national tax revenue, says Tengku Zafrul. With the opening of the economic sector, the automotive sector has returned to operating well. However, there are a number of cars that cannot be met in the wake of disruption to the global supply chain, he said. Tengku Zafrul said the whole world is facing a shortage of semiconductor chips, which are widely used across several industries including the automotive industry. Proton Deputy Chief Executive Officer Roslan Abdullah said the ending of SST incentives by June 30 will encourage more bookings, as customers who want to purchase the car will want to enjoy the advantage of lower pricing via the exemption. Nonetheless, the government's move of extending the registration period to March 2023 will enable Proton to manage the delivery to the customers, he said. He added that the delivery period for Proton cars will vary depending on model, variant, and color. At this point in time, Roslan said the average delivery period will be 2 to 4 months, while for the X50 being the most popular model, it is 6 months. He also said that not extending the SST incentive beyond June 30 is a positive development, as incentives are meant for short-term effects. In the case of the SST exemption for the automotive industry, the intention was to stimulate sales in a market heavily affected by COVID-19 restrictions. That has worked, but the government had to forego tax revenue. With the economy now fully reopened to pre-pandemic levels, the removal of the subsidy is fair and will aid the government in raising revenue for use in other areas requiring assistance, said Roslan. By the way, as we at the tail end of the newsletter, it is take note again the certain issues of this bulletin. In a nutshell, be reminded that we are blessed with the steps taken by the authorities to ensure the vehicle industry is on the way to an upturn. Remember, we must take notice the urgency of the tax exception. In fact, it does well serve the purpose of warning us of the current unstable automotive market situations in Malaysia. To recap, buyers who have reserved their cars during the tax exclusion period have until March 3 next year to lodge their vehicles with TH Road Transport Department, JPJ. This has ensued a 264,000 units of vehicles booked during the sales tax exemption period. Mind you, 868,422 units of vehicles have been sold and its value came up to a total Rm 4.7 billion. This SST exception was undertaken to revive vehicles sales caused by COVID-19 restrictions. Logically, we as sales and marketing auto professionals are duty-bound to positively educate our customers and prospects as regards to the precarious market situations. Would you just do that? As a parting gift to you, allow me to present you this quote by Adam Osborne. He was a British-American author, book and software publisher, and computer designer. He says, "I liken myself to Henry Ford and the auto industry. I give you 90% of what most people need." End of newsletter. Source: extracted and modified from Open Printed Media. P.S. Come to think of it, we know if it is a lengthy automobile sales newsletter, yet we want to congratulate you for watching and reading this bulletin completely. Needless to say, since you have fully read this news, therefore, you now deserve more forthcoming weekly free bonus of chapters of the book How to Handle All Kind of Sales Objection. Additionally, we are eager to know which part of this sales and marketing auto selling newsletter you learned most. Your feedbacks are critical so that we can help each other grow effectively. Lest you forget, these sharing will continue in YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course in our author, trainer, and consultant's email, josephsfn@gmail.com, upon request. Alright, thank you. We hope to meet you next week. Goodbye and best wishes. From me, yours truly, Madam Sophia, the virtual presenter to CTM Joseph. July 21, 2022.